What's good, Cowboys Nation? Welcome into another episode of the Sky Into Eye Show. I'm your host, Skywalker Steele, of course, joined as always by my co-host Aisha Morrison, aka 2I. How we doing, lady?
I'm good. Finally starting to get over that game the other week, and we are what you say?
Yeah. Turning the page. Got to turn the page. You got to do it real quick, for real, because this next opponent is not the Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen. This is a pissed off Green Bay Packers team that comes in here with Voldemort, is what I call him on my channel, because fans don't like when you say his name, but we got to say his name now. Micah Parsons is joining this already good, really Packers defense, again, that comes in pissed off because their efforts against the Browns didn't go with a win because of that Packers offense who didn't come to play against a good Browns defense. We're going to talk about that, but they're getting a pissed off Packers team. You would hope the Packers are getting a pissed off Cowboys team, but I don't know. I don't know because the Cowboys just haven't really been consistent one way or the other, hence their 1-2 record. And we're going to break all of that down for y'all today. We're also, get ready for this part, we also are going to tell you how to beat the Packers. What?
Impossible.
I know it feels, and I think you did. Did you do this earlier? I was watching y'all a little bit earlier. Impossible.
I think that was the call. Was it a Call of Brie? But shout out to the best Cinderella to ever be created.
Yeah. Hey. And that's how you know I grew up on that one, because anytime I hear somebody say impossible, in the back of my head I go, impossible. Like,
Whitney saying Whitney ain't got no business being.
Gosh, she was just legendary. Rest in peace to Whitney.
It was very niche, by the way.
Yeah. Some people are like, what the hell are they talking about? We're talking about the Black Cinderella.
Yeah.
So just say that. Go look it up. Brandy Whittiers. It does. I'm not going to say it feels impossible because any given Sunday, hence the Browns beating the Packers. But this is the tallest task, I think, of the season so far. And I think, once we get down to breaking this thing down, this is going to be the best front seven you have faced to date. So it's going to be difficult for the one aspect of your team that really needs to win this game, I think. And that's the offense, 2I. But put a pin in that. We're going to talk about it because they are getting some help on the defensive side of the ball. Getting back DaRon Bland and Jadeveon Clowney making his debut. Let's kind of talk about DaRon Bland's importance and coming back in here. Not sure if Diggs is going to play or not yet. There's been reports of him having a knee flare back up, but getting Bland back in general was good for you. But is it enough in the secondary to cover up kind of what's been happening over the last 2 weeks?
Is it enough? The stuff that they have going on in the back end is a lot of communication and all that stuff. But I do think it helps. Cowboys haven't gotten a whole bunch right, but seems like bringing in Reddy Stewart was a smart move.
Yes.
He's been able to man that nickel corner spot pretty well. Obviously not afraid to tackle. If you look within the film, even there's times where the ball's not coming his way. I think he's pretty decent in coverage still. He's still with the receiver. So that him being able to hold down the nickel spot really does help, because now you can kick Bland out to the outside, where I know a lot of people would argue they don't think he plays as well there, but it doesn't matter. He's your best corner physically right now. So, I think it does help. And then it leaves you with what happens with Kyer Elam or Trayvon Diggs, depending on who is healthy enough to play. I do think what we've seen from Kyer Elam as of late is not the best, been the best, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're seeing some of the concerns that I think Buffalo had with Kyer Elam, and some of the things that we kind of were talking about in the offseason of, hey, where's his confidence? Because once it takes a hit, can he recover? And I don't think it really has. And you saw it really in week, was it 1 or 2, when somebody came out with a statistic and he was on the internet trying to defend it and whatnot. And it's, they're in his head already. And here we are. But I'm with you. Getting DaRon Bland back is going to be significant for the entirety of the season, really, not even just this week. Is it enough? I don't know. I think they're going to have to couple getting Bland back with another personnel move or two. And that's what Coach Shoddy was. I love Shoddy. I said this yesterday at the pressers. he always says, I'm not going to tell you why or how. And then he eventually tells us a little bit of the why and how because he just loves to talk ball. And
And
you
he'll be
can
like, "I'm
do
not gonna
that
tell
as a
you."
coordinator. As a head coach, you got to be careful, right? Because they're
Mhm.
listening and hanging on to everything you're saying. But he did say there has been actually some changes over there, schematically and likely personnel wise. If I had to guess, I would assume it's going to be a little bit more Juan Ye because
Mm.
of them implementing Juan Ye at the end of that the game last week. Is that
It
your
was
feel, or do you think they're just going to continue to stick with a Donovan Wilson Malik Hooker tandem?
No, I definitely think that we might be seeing some changes at the safety position. I really wonder who Jadeveon Clowney is gonna be taking snaps from as well, because I know he is gonna kinda be in a ramp up period. He feels like he's ready to play. He seems like he wanted to help last week, it seemed like, and so with those 2 things, yeah, I definitely think we should see some changes there. I wonder what they're gonna do though, if they're gonna do anything at all at linebacker,
That
but
could be
that's
another
besides the
one
point.
too. I mean, we keep hearing about Maris Leofow, but he doesn't increase his snaps much more than he has been getting throughout the year. So I wonder. Yeah,
See, what Maris is weird to me because I will say, and I know you see it too, and I know you've seen it on film, is that and this is something he struggled with from the
yeah.
jump, is playing under control, setting his feet, trusting his eyes, not just, being just making spur of the moment decisions, stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I don't know if he gets better at that if he don't
I
play.
was just about to say it's something we've pointed out here throughout the offseason of, hey, look, we love what Maris can be, but here's the other side of it, right? All
Mhm,
these players are definitely these young players are working on things. And he is OC. He tends to be a little guessy, and when he guesses wrong, it can be bad. And you saw it on that 11-yard run where he just fires out of his containment, and that what happens? It opens up an entire lane. If he stays in his containment, he runs right into
mhm.
DeAndre Swift. But I'm with you here. You're going to have to just go through the pains with it so that he can understand how to get better at. Now he played a significant amount last year, so it's not like he didn't play a lot. But I think what they're asking of these linebackers and run fits to do is slightly different than what they were asking them to do last year.
Also too, do we see, getting into the Green Bay matchup, my god, Tucker Craft
Hmm.
is really becoming he's really becoming a player. The way they attack the seams with him, the yak ability, all that
Thoughts
stuff.
on that?
My tying it into the secondary, are we gonna see them do a little bit more dime? I know I saw them run it in training camp. I don't trust them still. Are we gonna see a safety maybe on a tight end? Like, does Flus kinda change it up? Because I think Tucker Craft really can ruin your day. He is becoming an intricate part
But
of
let
their
me
offense.
tell you why. And this is something that Matt LaFleur does a great job at. He schemes these tight ends to be
He sure
weapons.
does.
So
He
it's
sure
it's
does.
it's different. And I'm not trying to. We talked about this, pre-show, and maybe we'll get to it later. It's different than what you're seeing in Dallas.
Yeah.
These tight ends are not being schemed to be weaponized. They're being schemed to actually help in
Help
chipping.
block.
They're being
Yes.
schemed to just be outlets. But it's different than how the Packers are doing it because at the end of the day, like Tucker Craft is a solid player. Don't get me wrong, good player. But Tucker Craft is not George Kittle. Tucker Craft is not athletically. He's not the kid from Kyle Pitts. Like he's not. He's more of the run of the mill type of tight ends you see around the league. But
In
it's about
line, yeah.
usage and how they're doing it. And we're going to talk about this offense. They use their tight ends as weapons.
Mhm.
So you're gonna have to get ready for that. You're right. I do wonder though because we don't play a ton of man unless he switches it up. I don't know if the responsibility is going to fall necessarily on one of these linebackers to follow him across the field. But when they drop in these zones, you're gonna really need to fire down and tackle because that's a big boy.
And none of it, because obviously, yeah, we talk about the yak ability with him. I think he's averaging almost 10 yards a carry after 10 yards after the catch. But
That's
my thing
insane, by the way. I don't think
is
if it's 10
it's
yards of that's insane.
that's a lot. He leads all tight ends. But another thing too is I don't when you talk about them not playing as much man and stuff like that, it's just dog like this quarterback that you're going up against will eat up your zones. He
Yeah,
will eat up
especially if
your zones,
he will if you don't pressure him.
especially if you don't pressure
If you
him.
don't pressure him, I mean, any quarterback competent is likely going to have a good day against your zone defense that has been very bad. Let's just be
Barnacle.
completely honest. You know, you're just not where you need to be on that side of the ball. And what you hope is going back to Jadeveon Clowney,
Uh-huh.
inserting him in, he gives you something,
Something.
especially with their right tackle, Zach Tom, being out of this game. Now, I can't sit here and say a lot of things on my chest about anybody's offensive line against our D line because every week we talk about, oh man, this tackle's not good. This guard's not good. This center's not good. And then we don't make them pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who their backup is, but he's a backup. So can we finally make a team pay for it with a fresh Jadeveon Clowney coming in? It's a lot to ask for a guy who hasn't had training camp and is his first game, but unfortunately, that's where we're at. It's similar to the ask that we're asking the offense to do. Hey, offense, we're going to need you to score 35 points a game. It's
Mm-hmm.
not fair, but that's where we're at right now. Hey, Jadeveon, we're going to need you to give us some pass rush that we just don't have from the edge right now.
Quick question for you. With getting Bland back, I wonder if he's full go with
Mm.
Bland and Reddy Stewart. Do you think maybe the coach feels better with playing a little bit more press or anything? And I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, because you have more confidence in Deron Bland right now, like you just do. I would assume so. And then Reddy Stewart, he's already shown you that what he can do in cover. So it's just, do you think the coach might be like, okay,
They said they're going to make scheme changes. I wonder if that's one. Let me say this about Flus. It's not his. That's not in his wheelhouse. When people say, "Oh, we're not doing this because X, Y, Z," no, this is the type of scheme Flus runs. You go look in Chicago; they're not just up in the line of scrimmage in each other in people's chests. This isn't Dan Quinn, Seattle Seahawks cover 3, mug you at the line of scrimmage, and you don't know if I'm bailing or you don't know if I'm running man. It's not that. This is a very much a vision. When we say vision, boy, they taking that to heart.
do you hear me? They taking it way too seriously. They looking deep in the
Oh boy.
quarterback's eyes.
Oh boy. They
You might as
have
well set
no
up a
awareness in this
table.
vision defense. And I don't know if it
Oh,
was our show we talked about it or somewhere else where look, the vision defense literally means eyes on the cue, but it also means eyes elsewhere. Like you have to have peripheral vision of what's happening around you. And I don't think these DBs except ready are comfortable in doing that. And people think it's just simple. Oh, just zone drop back is no,
no, it's
because
complicated.
once teams are game planning to attack areas with multiple guys, your assignment will change mid play. And if you don't have the awareness, you'll get got.
Well, that's one thing that I'm worried about with this Green Bay team is, they do a lot of tight formations. They do a considerable amount of 12 and they'll pass out of that. They're not always looking to run out of that. And
Yeah.
what they'll do with the condensed formations is again, they're trying to cause your favorite conflict, in the passing lanes. And they're trying to get your defenders not where they're supposed to be getting caught in that trash. And for me, so I do understand why kind of like maybe running man if you can't get pressure would hurt you there, especially if your defense is already struggling with assignments. But I'm also like, well, if they have zones and they're doing this stuff, then my God. Like,
Yeah, it's you're in a tough situation right now because the guy you was hoping be one of your better man corners and he was over the years isn't a good corner right now in Trayvon
mhm,
Diggs. He's not the same athletic guy that he's been. Deron Bland, I think he can do multiple things for you. He's one guy though. He's not Daryl Revis either. And like you said, you hope Reddy Stewart can help a little bit here. But again, we're talking about a backup slot. We're not talking about a
mm,
predominantly perennial all pro slot. So you're putting a lot of pressure on solid players. But you need, I think it was coach who said it, all 11. So how do we marry these things together? And that's what I
mhm,
think they're trying to figure out. And he talked about simplifying this. He talked about scheme changes. He talked about uh, personnel changes. I don't have the answers. That's what they get paid to do because it's so much wrong right now that they have to figure out maybe how to fix one leak at a time until maybe I hate to say this, but week 6, 7, 8. Then it's like, okay, we figured out how to fix it all. I don't know that it gets fixed in 1 week though.
yeah,
That's
I
where
don't know
I'm
if
not
it
going to
gets
lie to you about that one. One thing that doesn't need to be fixed though is the run defense. I think has been very consistent throughout
mhm,
this season. I know people are going to look back at that 19 play drive. I went back and looked at that 19 play drive. It wasn't the ground game with running backs that really killed you there. The very first play, yes. After that 11 straight runs, they averaged 2.8 yards per carry to running backs. I think it was 7 or 8 carries went to running backs, 2.8 yards per carry. What
mhm,
killed you there was Caleb Williams had a couple quarterback keeps, and he got like 7 yards on one. I think he got like 8 on the other, some around there. He converted a first down and a jet sweep. Luke the
mhm,
Burden that converted a first down. What really killed you in that drive was he was able to mind you, 19 play drive. There was 8 plays that were passes. He was
Mhm.
successful on 5 of them, and one of them being the touchdown wide open on 4th down.
Mhm.
So a little bit more context to that. I still feel good about the run defense. They're going to go up against another good running back here in Josh Jacobs for the Packers,
They
and
lean on him so heavy.
he's a true bell cow.
I mean, yeah, they lean on him so heavy. I mean, and I thank you for saying that
Mhm.
because we don't see that as much in the league anymore. But they really do opt to, hey, we got one guy that's out here mostly, and this is who we're going to lean on. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do think when it comes
If
to,
you got a player that is like that, and I think Josh
yeah,
Jacob is one of the best running backs in the league, so that's
absolutely.
understandable. I'm not
Hmm.
I'm not I prefer a tandem approach, but unless I have a Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick, then of course that makes sense to do that.
No,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. He's definitely a big reason why their play action attack is something that is one of the best in the league, and that's something that they lean very heavily on. That's where honestly is where Jordan Love makes some of his biggest plays is out of play action. So
That's that scheme. I mean,
Cowboy,
we run a very similar scheme. You
it,
can tell that we
that's
try to take some of those
ugh.
concepts. Let's stay there. Let's stay there with the Packers offense and how to upset the Packers.
Mhm.
And I know this is going to sound crazy because not everybody has the Browns defense, but the Browns really did give you a blueprint per se. But the
Yeah.
problem is with having that blueprint, and you got to have the pieces.
Oof.
And boy, don't let the 41-point game against the Ravens deter you from what the Browns defense has been able to do to start the season. It's really been very. They have a ridiculous front seven.
It's
Uh,
honestly so unfair, and my heart breaks for their offense. Truly.
yeah, yeah. They have a really good. I mean, Miles Garrett, right? Graham, Malik Collins, Alex Smith. I mean, they have a really good front. The rookie from UCLA's back end. They don't even have JOK out there right now. He's on IR. It's just a really good front. And then Schwartz is a really good defensive coordinator. And by the way, they may have one of the best secondaries too, right? Newsome and Ward and Delpit. It's a
Hmm.
very good unit that really made Jordan Love at the top of his drop. When he put that back foot, he was uncomfortable. And I think I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 no. Go
That's
ahead.
a
I wait.
difference, I think, between a
Oh,
legitimate pass rush and that creates pressures or sacks in a pass rush. You're like, oh, well, yeah, after 4 seconds, we got some pressure. No, are you making the quarterback uncomfortable at the top of his drop?
at the
And
top.
the Browns were doing that ad nauseum against Jordan Love. He was so uncomfortable because there was so much trash happening in front of him, or pressures, or obviously sacks. They got to him 5 times. And, you know, we saw, at least I did on film, LaFleur tried to do what we've been doing a lot, which is max protect 2-man routes. And on the sack, I think it was that he took was an inexplicable sack, just ridiculous. 3rd and 1, throw the ball away. He
Mm.
took like a 16-yard sack. It was ridiculous. It was one of those routes. It was, I think it was play action, not quite sure. Send 2 guys out,
He
and
was going
nobody was open.
backwards. He
And he
went. He
just
was
kept
going backwards.
floating backwards.
Yeah.
And that's something that Jordan Love will do. He'll make boneheaded play. He'll make a couple boneheaded plays throughout the game if you let
Hmm.
him.
Hmm.
So if you want to talk about how to upset them from a defensive standpoint, you have to make Jordan Love uncomfortable. Notice I didn't bring up stopping Josh Jacobs. Of course you have to, but let's be real. That seems to be the one aspect of your defense that you can have a little bit of confidence in, is that they have been playing solid run defense. They have not been able to stop the pass, which makes me wonder, if I'm LaFleur, do I even care to try to run the ball this much against a secondary in a pass rush that seems to be extremely poor?
I mean, I guess more than anything, I think they were. I creeped on some of the Green Bay folks. They were very pissed about the lack of play action. So maybe if that's like, just to set up your play action is to just be able to run. Now you don't have to run the ball to do play action. That is a
You don't have
common
to run the ball
misconception.
well. No.
You don't have to run it well. However, I think that they are going to try to uh keep the Dallas offense defense rather honest at the beginning of the game at the very least. But I at the same time I do see them attacking through the seams very early, the middle of this defense, and that terrifies me.
Yeah, because the middle of the defense has struggled the last 2 weeks. I mean, you look at the big plays.
Mm,
A couple to Wandell Robinson. The play that Caleb Williams had, where he just pretty much disrespected. I think it was Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker could have had an interception. A veteran should have been reading that play. I think somebody came right behind him, and Caleb didn't give a damn. He just zipped it. It was the middle of the field, wasn't a touchdown
mhm.
one. And I don't know what Malik is doing, man. Like, use your instincts. A legitimate free safety could have had a pick right there, and it just went right by his ear for a big play. And obviously the touchdowns to the tight end, the touchdowns to DJ Moore. The middle of the field is soft in that,
Mhm.
from a pass game standpoint. And we talk about the tight ends. He's going to use those tight ends. He's going to use Tucker Craft. If I think he's a little banged up, but he's going to use Tucker Craft. Play action, misdirection. Get ready. We've been here before,
Mhm.
right? And he's going to use them to try to take out on those split zone reads, to take out your defensive end, the Jadeveon Clowney who hasn't been hit yet. So yeah, they'll be involved heavily.
Well, yeah, and then you got even so you got a guy like Wicks. You got to think about he ain't dropped nothing all year already, and they're really trying to. From what I heard from some of the pressers this week, they are looking to get Matthew Golden more involved in this offense. And for
He
me
should have had a touchdown last week.
and your safeties, the way that the safeties have been struggling to keep guys in front of them, we already know he will run past you, and so I'm just like to your point about the pressure and the quick pressure, where are you at a point to where you're like, all right, Flus, if these guys can't get home with four, let's just bring some heat.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because
Also, too, go ahead.
we haven't been able to get quick pressure, or really pressure in general, but legitimate quick pressure that disturbs the quarterback. How many times over the last 2 weeks have we been like, hey man, at the top of their drop, they're just comfortable, they're comfy,
Yeah,
cozy, So yeah,
yeah, and
mix it up.
yeah, and I think you can attack the center, and I think you also can attack the right guard. Jordan Morgan had a bit of a rough outing, but that's because they keep moving him everywhere. If I'm
Oof.
not mistaken, the Packers went through like four different
Yeah.
offensive line lineups last week. I would expect for them to come in this week with a better plan, not having to mix guys in the game. But to that point, um, I do think that Dallas can shake them up with some of now you gotta get there, but I do think they could shake them up with some of the alignments and also too,
But we don't
maybe
do
a few
anything
stunts and stuff
exotic
like that.
to
That's what
shake
I'm
them up.
saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but if you're not going to, you're not like, if you're not, you gotta find a way. And that's what I'm saying. That's what's pissing me off. And I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna try not to cuss. I'm really
I cuss
getting
for you.
annoyed. Like, I'm really getting annoyed with that ain't what he does and blase, blase, blase. I don't care. You are not getting any pressure on the quarterback. You cannot affect the quarterback. You got to pick one. Dog, you not pressuring and your back end's getting killed. I don't give a damn what you have done for years upon years upon years. You got to change it up for the betterment of your players. And you damn sure better because at some point, people
Uh,
going to start pointing fingers.
That
You
was
got to
my
keep
that
up the
was my
morale
whole
for your damn team.
that was my whole argument a couple weeks ago on the collective was I'm sorry, bro.
I
Like,
don't
what do you want to
care.
do? Just keep doing the same shit that's not working?
I don't
Like, you
care.
can't keep doing that. You gotta show me you're trying something different so I can say at least you tried. At
Try.
least you made an attempt, and that goes deeper than the coach too, by the way. But at
I,
least you made an attempt, and it wasn't the case in my opinion to start off.
Well,
But
he might have to because you telling me ain't nobody tapped him on the shoulder. Somebody gonna tap him
it
on the
also could
shoulder.
be maybe he doesn't have a counter. That's like telling a boxer to try a punch he doesn't know how to do and
How you do
can't do.
on how to be a how do you be a no, how can you be a millionaire or whatever? Phone a friend. Do something.
Now, yes, like this is why I think in the off season it's important to try to work on being more multiple because once you get into in the season, they're not going to implement some brand new ass defense because you don't
Don't get
have time to do it throughout the week. So
I
I don't think he
know.
has a counter because he clearly ain't showed to me that he has a counter, not throughout his career and not throughout the games. Now, is he able to have a different game plan? He's proven that when he had a third half to deal with, right? We had the third. Now, can we get a third half every game? Yeah. The way that defense played after the third half in the first game was awesome. But that's because you had film and then you were able to go play that same team an hour later.
You hear me?
What happens when you have to stay on the field for 4 legitimate quarters? He has no answers.
I don't want that. And again, I'm trying to hear me out, fans. I'm trying to be fair to the coordinators that and the defense as a whole that I do not think was planning to not have a Michael Parsons. I get it, but he gone. As a matter of fact, he's probably gonna wear you out this week. We need to move on. Like move on.
The
You need to. course correct and figure something
The
out.
only
What's up?
thing I was, not the only thing, but one of the main things I'll be fair with, because
I'm
I'm not
trying.
really trying to, I'm not sitting here trying to put a cape on for this DC because I won't. Y'all know me. I've been calling him out since the start of the season. The only thing I will say is he clearly does not have the players for this scheme.
Oh,
And,
fair.
and for
Totally fair.
whatever reason, I have no idea who like Will McClay. I can't fathom Will McClay sat up here and said, "Yeah, Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, Trayvon Diggs, and Kyrie Elam. That fits the scheme perfect." There's no way. I mean, so I don't know if something a higher power said, we paid Malik, we paid Dono, you ain't touching it. We paid we paid Diggs. Ain't touching it. Yeah, I don't know if that's happening. I'm not saying it is, but I do know that the first year in Chicago a little rocky. But once he started getting his guys, that second year was really good defensively. So yeah,
Which is
that's the
fair. I mean, the system is relevant. Like the system that he runs is relevant. It's not that it's not. It's just if you can't get home with four, you're crippled with this
yep.
system. And you're and I we flame in the secondary, but dog, like a
As
lot of
we should.
as we should, but people people can sit back there, they can get the ball out quick or they can get the ball out when they want to. They can run RPOs or they cannot run RPOs. They can
You
scramble and them never shumma.
we talked about it before, but you've replaced one aspect that you were bad at with another, and
Mhm.
I would imagine at this point in time you would rather have go. I'm look, I'm not saying I want to be bad at run defense. I'm not saying that,
Oh,
but
Barnum.
what I'm getting at is I would have rather have been average at it and still been an elite pass rush because boy, yeah, we're really good at this run thing, but motherfuckers don't care. They do not care when they can get quite literally 11 yards of pop throwing the ball and 13 plays of 20 plus yards through the air. You're not making teams matriculate down the field like this defense is supposed to. They run the ball, whatever, you stop, but now we're getting 35, 65, 45, 50, 52. Like that's just you cannot have that, man. You cannot
Which
have it.
brings me to my second point in regard to getting back to the games, and we got to get off our box,
I know, my bad. My bad,
the
y'all.
soapy kind. My bad, sorry. Uh, is that Green Bay last week 14 penalties. They struggled to
Is
stay.
that an anomaly or have they been a bad penalized team? I didn't pay
No, they're
attention to that part.
typically a pretty disciplined team. What I think it was
That
all
defense?
that stuff, all the decoration and Mr. Garrett and all of the Cleveland defensive line. And I also think that they do some press bail technique. They just do some things that really had you could tell Jordan Love was like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing?
That's what I'm saying. They had him uncomfortable all
Uncomfortable.
day.
And that to me, but it wasn't just him, to your point. It was that offensive line as well. It
Oh
was
yeah.
like, and so
I mean, that's why he was
how can
uncomfortable.
you
Let's be real.
figure out I'm like, all right, Flus, if we doing baby steps, big dog, and you don't want to do a whole bunch of flashy stuff, just do a few shifts, just do a few stunts, just show him some stuff at the line that maybe he's not expecting, even like, just try to throw him off a little bit because you to your point, sometimes like, yeah, if he gets pressure in his face, his platform can get kind of wonky. He can get a little toesy, not throwing
Oh,
the
he
ball out
throws
the
off
back.
platform like he's an arm arrogant quarterback.
Yeah, he's very arm arrogant and he's a good athlete as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I agree with you that there are times where you see him delivering the ball and you be like, they get floaty on him and stuff because
Oh, he
he's not
makes
setting his
boneheaded
feet.
decisions.
Yeah, he's not setting his feet, and I noticed that as well. But I think if I'm Dallas, that's what I would be trying to do is to at least try to get him showing him some different things post snap, or you're gonna have to bring pressure. You
You're
just
gonna have to
got
bring,
to.
yeah, that's the number one thing for me. You have to pressure him because put a cap on their offense against our defense. And I say Jordan Love was averaging something around like 10 plus air yards per attempt prior to this Browns game. He averaged less than 2 yards
Mhm.
area. So he was just dumping the thing off. He just kept dumping up because he was getting quick pressure. And it was, you want to look at a zone clinic, go
Dog.
watch this Browns game against the Packers. I mean, that is a clinic that they put on that back end. And you
Mhm.
saw that these guys are completely different from what the Cowboys have back there. They're confident. They know what they're doing. They know where to be. Know how to be there. But they've been in that system for a while too.
And they also too, to your point, Sky, because they know the zone so well, you'll see they bait. the corners bait, and sometimes it looks like man. It's not.
That's
Sometimes they look
Schwartz. That's Schwartz for you.
like it's the way that the way that he can manipulate with that, and the players can manipulate within it. Like they can take liberties because they know,
They
like
trust
they
that my
trust each
safety is going to
other.
be over top of
They
me, or they
trust each
trust that,
other.
okay, this corner. Yeah. It's
So to your point, yeah, like that's the idea of what you would want the
mhm.
secondary from a predominantly zone secondary to look like eventually. So I understand that it might take some time. You ain't got time for that right
No,
now.
no.
But yeah, my last question for you to put a bow on it is who is your best covers linebacker right now? Go.
I mean, I don't think we have one right now.
Well, barnacles. That was my point in the question. All right, let's move
I
on.
want to say Maris, but he hasn't been out there to do it a lot. So probably Maris, but he hasn't been out there enough. So I don't think you have a good covering linebacker right now. On the other side of this, after this quick little break, stay with us. We are going to talk about this Cowboys offense, who I believe is going to have to win this game against this Packers defense, who's pissed off and has been really damn good. Stick around. Have you fallen and gotten injured at work? You should probably call a lawyer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan and Morgan.
Morgan and 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 Morgan.
Did you know that your injury could be worth millions of dollars? Morgan & Morgan is the largest injury law firm in America, and they've recovered over $25 billion for their clients.
$25 billion? That's a hell of a lot of money.
If the insurance companies tried to lowball you, Morgan & Morgan is able to take the pain and suffering and turn it into cold, hard cash. But wait. How much is Morgan & Morgan gonna cost you? You never owe them legal fees unless they're successful.
That's right. You don't owe unless you win.
And if you don't know how to hire a lawyer and it sounds too hard, it's actually super easy. You can just go to their website, and then in a couple clicks, you can find out if you have a case. You can literally do it from your smartphone. And remember, there's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Wait, there's more than one because let me see the script. Oh, last name. Oh, okay, roll.
You can start your claim today by going to forthepeople.com/Skywalker. The link in the description. All right, welcome back. The Cowboys offense, boy, it's been a weird, very weird start to the season because you see them move the ball, but the problem for me, Tuai, is they have not been able to finish because of shooting themselves in the foot.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Penalties and turnovers in the red zone or scoring areas have killed them. The Eagles game, they had a chance to go take the lead. Miles Sanders fumbles. The not the Giants game. This Bears game, they get down there three different times. Four. You had the Javonte Williams fumble.
Times.
You had the Pickens drop pick. You had the Dak off the back foot, just trying to make something happen on fourth pick, and then obviously end of the game pick. You cannot have scoreless halves, and the reason why they're scoreless is because you're turning the ball over. You do that against this Packers team, the game will run away from you more than it did against the Bears. I can assure you of that.
I don't think that they how do I say this?
Mistakes. I just think they have to correct the mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, playing from behind, listen, your run game has some efficiency to it, and playing from behind does not help your offensive line at all. Trying to, because that's the big thing.
Well,
that's the big thing. I mean, your receivers need to do their job, come back to the ball, finish their routes, all that good stuff, play through contact this week because they're gonna have to. But the protection is also a problem.
You're going up against, I think, the best front seven you will have seen to date.
Next to the Giants.
No, I think the best. I think much better than the Giants.
Well, I'm saying, I would say
front seven.
Yeah, because their
linebackers are
like
way better
too.
than the Giants.
They like that too.
Yeah, you got the young. I forget his name. I almost said Campbell again. Cooper.
Adrian Cooper.
Quay Walker, Michael Parsons, Rashawn Gary. That's tough. And then Wyatt. Their backup defensive tackles are good too.
And McDuffie's not bad in the in
that's what I'm saying.
Either.
Like they have a really good front seven, and what you're going to have to do for me if you want to upset the Packers, slow this game all the way down.
You hear me? I'm playing clock control all game. game. You hear me?
Listen, throw all that shit I was talking about out the window coming into the season about, oh, yeah, we got the Pickens and Lamb and Ferg and Turp and Dak. Yeah, you're going to have to sling this ball around sometimes, right? I want to be balanced. Don't get me wrong. I want to be balanced. No, this game, I want to be as unbalanced as possible. I want to run the ball 55 times. I don't want to drop back in obvious pass situations a single time. I don't give a damn if we get to 3rd and 5 every single time. Run it again. No, I'm just playing. But
I'm about to say, hey, listen, when you
I'm so serious,
taking
though.
it too far.
This is not a game. You want to try to prove to the world, we can do it without CD Lamb. We can throw the ball 35, 45 times without CD. This ain't that. Shut that shit down. Okay?
You're so angry.
Well, I just don't. I really hope they come out here with a plan. And Coach Shoddy said, we got a plan for Micah. That's cool. You got a plan for Rashad Gary? You got a plan for Wyatt?
Crazy.
You got a plan for Cooper? All jokes aside, give me the 12 personnel packages, right? Give me the heavy sets. And look, man, I don't need to see Tolbert in this game a whole lot. I don't need to see you. Give me some sets where I can get Turpin in the backfield. Flournoy, I want Flournoy to be my wide receiver too, by the way.
Flournoy needs to be out there.
Yeah.
You need blocking. I'm hoping for some. I agree with you. I'm hoping for some heavy run sets.
Oh, hold on real quick. 12 personnel with Brevis Spanford. Just go ahead.
Period. Period, twin.
That's all I'm to say about that.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've been talking about Brevis Spanford, but when you look at what he's doing in line, he's a glorified lineman right now. Yeah. But you need to be able to use some of these guys in these pass sets, which brings me back to the protection. And what do you think is going to go on there? Because they're being really tight-lipped about who they are going to put at their right guard spot. What are you thinking?
Probably TJ Bass. I wanted it to be Nate Thomas, but they came out, I think, with Shoddy and mentioned names, and he didn't mention Nate.
Well, maybe that's good.
Maybe it'd be nice if he's like lying to the media in that aspect.
I would love that.
I want it to be Nate.
Because the way that I look at it, my bad. But the way that I look at it is you got not so powerful and Guyton, even though I feel like he's really improving in the run game. You got not so powerful Tyler Smith. Not so powerful Hoffman, a little power to him, a little light in the ass sometimes. And then if you had Nate Thomas there, it would be because I think that's something that's been understated in regard to not having Booker anymore, is that Booker has been helping Terrence. His power helps Terrence Steele.
I think Terrence is helping Booker too in the run game because he knows how to be a good run blocker.
And they worked well together.
Worked very well together over there in the run.
Yes, and I agree, but I feel like just the balance of the offensive line, you know what I'm saying, from a power.
Yeah, and you don't lose the power aspect with the Nate Thomas for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of a lot of what you're asking Tyler Booker to do is be more powerful, not super quick-footed, but really like getting in those double teams, getting to like. So I will see what happens. Maybe they really are trying to save Nate Thomas for if they need to pull one of these tackles. Obviously, TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman go way back like two flats on a Cadillac at this point. They played so many preseason games together. They have, I think that they really do have a rapport. And the thing I will say about TJ Bass, he will get kind of wonky at times. His feet can get a little clunky, but he's going to fight through a rep. And one thing I know at the point with him is he will practice bad and go play okay.
He has a high IQ.
He's a gamer.
He's
very aware.
During my film studies of him from Oregon, and then obviously early in his career, he's like you said, very aware. I think he passes off stunts well.
Yes.
I think he knows how to get to the second level. He's not as sticky. But yeah, I don't think he's as talented to me as Nate Thomas. But you make a point here about the rapport that he has with with Brock Hoffman, that maybe they move with that because against this front, this defensive coordinator too, by the way, he's using Micah like we want Micah to be used. He's everywhere. Cooper is everywhere. Quay Walker. This is one of those situations where you're going to see a lot of different looks. You're going to see a lot of different stunts, a lot of different blitzes. You're going 5-6 guys. It's going to be tough ass, and for a guy Nate Thomas that hasn't done that yet in the interior. So I understand if it is TJ selfishly, I think Nate's the better player, and if we're going to run the ball a whole lot, I think he's going to be the better run blocker. So I hope
Well,
it's Nate.
I think that might be saving Nate too for
Potential tackle situation.
if it get rough out there, if somebody is getting their tail whooped with a Michael Parsons. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
I
think Nate's
wonder.
saving that either, though. But
I don't think he's
yeah,
saving
I
that.
don't think he. I think
I
he
don't
get
think
whooped too.
he's
I think over the
saving that.
long haul, Nate Tom, because this was the conversation I had yesterday on my show. The problem with the injury to Booker is if you're going to use Nate, he can't be looked at as the tackle replacement for a steal, right?
Track in.
Because Nate's a guard. But to me, I'd still rather do that because I think Adeniji has been a proven swing tackle in this league.
I
So
agree.
I don't think you really need Nate to do that if he can be a guard and upgrades from TJ Bass. And guess what? The other part of me reason why I want to use Nate is that TJ Bass is your backup center. You got your two centers starting now. So I don't know if I want to put that risk because center's really important.
I think that they're looking at well, I can never remember his name. The gentleman that they brought in, that
Keegan,
not Keegan, the other guy,
Fries or something. His name French.
French. I think that they're looking at him as more of a
but he hasn't been. But it has literally been on the depth chart. It is BB, it is Hoffman and Bass. So now it's Hoffman, Bass. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to risk that, especially if Bass is going to be at guard.
Yeah.
And I think that Nate can be a little better than at guard.
No, I agree. I mean, the power on your interior has been helping your tackles because it helps them get push in the run game and it lets your tackles be athletic. So if you're trying to still compensate for that power on the interior, I think that Nate Thomas is a good fit for that. But let's move on. My bad.
No, let's actually stay there on the run game because all jokes aside, it's not going to be pretty if you slow this game down like this, and it wasn't for the Browns. But let me tell you why the Browns were able. Well, it only worked because their defense kept them in the game.
That's
the only reason why it worked. The run game was putrid before it broke off two big runs. They were averaging, and Junkins. This is why you got to kind of go watch the games. You look at it from a distance, like I did, like we all did, because I didn't watch the game. I said, "Oh shoot, Junkins went off." I thought.
I didn't think he went off. No, I didn't think he went off.
No, from the numbers.
Yeah, from the numbers.
I look at numbers. I'm like, oh, he must have been just pop, pop, pop. I went and looked. I'm like, oh, that ain't happened to the middle of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
If you go look at his carries prior to that, 3.1 yards per carry, and that actually tracks for the Green Bay Packers run defense. It has been a really tough defense to run on. But the reason why they were able to stick to it, and they had to stick to it because you cannot drop back willy-nilly against this pass rush, is because their defense on the other side of the ball kept the game 10-0. So you can stick to the run. And what happens at some point, them levees are going to break if you stick to it in that manner. And that's what happened. Back-to-back plays, 14-yard run by Junkins, 38-yard one by Junkins. Unfortunately for the Browns, it didn't matter because they didn't score a touchdown on that drive. But you saw it break the plane a little bit, right? So for the Cowboys, which you can't, as long as the defense, which this is another tough task, keeps you in the game, if they keep you in the game enough, you have to be very, 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 very stubborn with the ground game. It's going to look ugly. It might look like 2 yards per carry. It might look like 3 yards per carry. And I don't think it was a matter of, they just wore the Packers' run defense down. That wasn't the case. Junkins just made two good, really the 38-yarder was just a good play.
That interior offensive line blocked it up for them too.
I think it was Quay Walker got thrown out the club, and Delane was there, and Junkins took advantage of it. So other than that, again, it wasn't like you just got worn down, but the Cowboys are going to have to try to manufacture some type of wear down. And the other aspect of this too is you can't let these rush guys tee off, right? You got to make them think for a second. It's just 1/2 a second at least, as opposed to getting straight back there on Dak. So play action, run action is going to be big in this game. And look, as long as you can stay in it, for me, the key to this game is just to literally be stubborn as hell with running the ball.
Yeah, I felt like the Cowboys went away from it in moments last week where they really didn't have to necessarily. Sounds like Eberflus is talking right now. He said that they changed some of the defensive calls to one word to simplify. Sky, I'm not doing this with you today because I knew you was gonna do. I knew you. That's why I shouldn't have said nothing. I should have waited.
What I do?
Cause you funny, cause you trying to be funny. I don't
So
no.
so
He
the
said that.
coverage buster because of the length of the words.
He shouldn't have told us that.
No, he shouldn't have.
People ain't gonna let that go. He shouldn't have told us that. You tell it.
To me, what he doing is saying, "Oh, y'all think it's me? This these dumbass players."
Sky.
Just his jokes. It's
When you
jokes.
gotta give a study guide to the study guide. No.
We got
One
footnotes for the
one word.
footnotes.
One word. They had to go to
They
one
out there.
word.
Ham. What's ham? Half side, half field. That's you. Ham.
Sky,
All right.
please.
You know what? It's probably even more simpler than that. Back. That means get back.
No.
Back.
I shouldn't have told you.
Off.
I should have
Say
let
my
you see
dicks.
it.
Off.
I should have let you see it on your own because you ain't going.
Up.
No,
Kick
not
care.
up.
Up.
Not like they're
Yeah.
3 years old, Sky.
Tackle. Got it? Okay, cool. Give me a break.
Mrs. Rachel in football is insane. You're going to jail.
Say it with me. I'm sorry.
No, Sky, I can't laugh. I don't want to laugh.
Hey, Flu's wrong for that. Flu's letting you know, hey, look,
He shouldn't have said that out loud. He ought to be ashamed.
these boys.
I gotta go actually read it because that's a quote that someone took. So
but,
you know,
but you know I'm
sometimes
gonna have fun with it. I'm sorry.
they be taking bits and pieces. But also too offensively, Clayton Adams talked about Turpin today, which I think is important. Sounds like they're expecting for his role to increase. He said he's the straw that stirs the drink out there, and I think that has I think that matters because he is your motion man as well.
Yeah.
Furthermore, he's your returner. He sets up your damn offense as well. So Turpin having an increased, where do you see him being able to take advantage of some of the things on the back end for Green Bay or at all?
I think I'm guessing.
Can make
I think
difference?
they're going to try to get him the ball fast in this game.
Yeah.
Against the Bears, and we tried. I disagree with one of the fans on air. We tried shots, and not necessarily throwing them, but we attempted them in routes, the route combinations. We try to get downfield. You saw a bunch of times where Dak is looking, dumping off the because they're putting a cap over top of the defense. This defense is a little more aggressive. They're a little more aggressive, so you'll have some opportunities. The problem is you ain't gonna have time. There's not going to be a lot of time unless you go max protect in that manner. So I think if I had to guess, they're going to try to get the ball to Turp a little quicker, maybe out the backfield, maybe on some screens, maybe on some orbit stuff. And then they're going to have to precisely choose their times to take a shot with a Turp. Because we talked about this, and maybe we'll have to save it because this could go on for another segment. I don't think the Packers are going to allow George Pickens to just beat them one-on-one with a limited manner in how they use him. And I say that, and I'll try to be quick too. I apologize. I'll be quick here. The way Pickens is going to be used is going to be completely different than the way CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 1, is going to be used. Way different. Lamb is more versatile, and he's used in a multitude of different ways. Pickens, it's not going to look the same, and I think it's actually going to be a little bit easier to take him out of the game if they don't move Pickens around or they don't cause some conflict in the route concepts. And it's just going to be, because look, you could take advantage of over routes with Pickens when teams have to deal with CeeDee Lamb. What happened in that Bears game? You go back and watch. They tried to do some over stuff with George Pickens. You had a safety here, you had a linebacker, or you had a corner right here, and you had a linebacker. They just bracketed him, and it was easy to take away because that safety didn't have to deal with a CeeDee Lamb. So I don't know if you're going to have enough time to take advantage of Pickens downfield or even Turpin. So maybe getting him the ball quicker in this game and hoping he breaks a big play.
Yeah. I also, sorry, I was thinking about, I said on Girls Talk Boys Talk today too, is that if they do go down the field with George Pickens, with how grabby and stuff their corners can be, I definitely expect some interferences if he is given the opportunity to get the ball. But when you talk about them having to go quick game and do some of the stuff that they want to do there, this is one of the times that I do think that Micah playing Dak Prescott as long as he did matters. because I expect for a quarterback like Dak Prescott to manipulate with his cadence as well. I do
And he's
think
been good at home. Excuse me, at home with that.
yes, I think you're gonna have to. I think you're gonna have to try to get these guys to jump.
And he'll jump.
Yeah.
Micah is
Yeah.
one offsides bunch.
Yeah, he was in the neutral zone last week. He jumped off sides early in that game as well. Like so, I want because they're aggressive, like you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that the quarterback can take advantage of that with his cadence, with maybe some of the quick game or get into the or hurry up and get into the line quickly, changing tempos on these guys. You know
And
how
that's
can
the tough part.
see, and I understand you want
That's
us
the tough
to.
part.
I understand they have to matriculate down the field. What I'm saying is you got to understand what you matched up against, and to me, free plays and things like that to me will be
No, that
important.
cadence, absolutely. Tempo, though, that's the part you have to make sure you do it appropriately because you don't want to turn into Chip Kelly. You just 3 and out fast.
No, no,
You know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
absolutely. I'm and when I say tempo doesn't always mean speeding up. Tempo also can mean slowing down depending on how you
Sure.
utilize it.
Well, you mentioned up tempo.
Changing. Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah. So
saying
no,
I want him to dictate the tempo of the game. To your point, I'm hoping he can
to
do
dictate
that.
the tempo to me, slow it down. Like I hate to be that throwback basic, but I don't know that you want to play around with trying to get cute with this team because you just don't have the weapons and you don't have the defense to risk it. So this has to be one of those games where I'm sorry, you got to run the ball 40 times, man.
Yep.
Play action type situation. The tempo I'll side on is the cadence aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how I feel about going back to the old ways of the sugar huddle, get to the line, let Dak manipulate and play around. I don't even know if I want to play with that. I don't because I don't trust the tackles against this team consistently.
Yeah, that's fair.
And if you get up
You
to
at
that
home
line,
though.
you
You at
you're right.
home though. You
You're
should
right.
be able to. Well, sometimes at AT&T they be screaming when the offense got a big play going on.
I mean,
Confusing.
I believe Dak and getting to the line and doing his thing, but then there's times where it's just like we're doing it too much. It's
Oh
too
yeah.
much, and this coordinator is a little bit different than the previous coordinator. He's going to make. You saw Dennis Allen do it. Dennis Allen said, "Okay, we're going." And he don't think for a second that this coordinator didn't see Dennis Allen put 4 guys on one side and Dak is up there having to do all this thing. And guess what? They'll blitz sometimes, they won't, and now we got to dump it off to Ferg, and everybody mad at Ferg because it's 3rd and 16, and we got to dump it off to Ferg, who's all flats fried hard. So it's a weird situation I'm in personally with this. Like, do we do our normal up tempo type of style, or do we slow this thing down? I feel like we have to slow it down, man. I hate to say it, I just do. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Now, obviously, I don't want to do that in 2 minutes. I don't want to do that in 4 minutes. I don't want to do that when the game gets out of hand. But you got to try to keep this thing close if your defense isn't going to be better. If your defense is better, then all right, cool. But
yeah, quarterback and the OC got a big task of number one understanding that and we'll put a bow on it. But quarterback and the OC got a big task having to. They're going to have to manipulate this defense too in some ways, and I wonder how they do that. I wonder how they figure out how to catch these guys slipping because I mean, 1-on-1, mano y mano, you're outmatched in most spots.
And another task for me is they're going to have to figure out, the quarterback and OC, how to utilize George Pickens as wide receiver 1 this early in the season.
It's going to
is gonna
force
be
them.
big.
This is either going to go really good or really well. To me,
Really
or
good or
somewhere in
really
between.
bad.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be good or it's going to be bad, and I think they are being forced almost into really shoring up that chemistry between Dak and Pickens early. To your point, like it's kind of that important at this point.
Yeah.
To focus like that, whereas you could kind of ease a little bit.
Right.
No, Dak, some of those red zone throws that you floating, you got to put them in his hands. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Pickens, hey, when the ball comes your way, he has to trust that you're gonna catch it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
yeah, it's gonna be a tough one.
Good talk, Brody.
Man, this was a really, really good one, Cowboys Nation. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please hit that like button on the way out. Share this content with your Cowboys friends and family. And hopefully by the next time we're talking to y'all, we're talking about an upset that has happened at AT&T Stadium. You know, we talk about revenge games. I mean, look, man, Shoddy was on his staff. A lot of these players were on his staff when they came into your crib as a 7th seed and embarrassed you, upset you at your crib. Now it's your turn to play spoiler and upset them. And you know there's people in that locker room that want to play against Micah. So use that to your advantage too. You got to get your get back, man. You got to. So hopefully we're talking to y'all with smiles on our faces about a win and not smiles on our faces trying to fight through the pain. I'm sick of that.
I hope so. I hope these coaches adjust and don't be lying to us.
Don't be lying.
I won't be gaslit out here.
All right, y'all. Please, like I said, do me a favor, hit that like button. We will see y'all next week. Peace.